Welcome, brave little stars.
Tonight, we're venturing deep into a place where the trees breathe and the mist watches. Crackup Factory is your guide into a myth where fear melts into truth, and darkness finally bows to the light. Settle in, get cozy, and prepare for today's chilling tale. The Silver Witch of the Black Forest. Deep within the ancient heart of Germany's Black Forest, villagers would whisper stories around crackling fires. They spoke of a witch, said to be born of moonlight itself. Her hair was as silver as winter frost, and her eyes were rumored to glow like embers in the thick fog. Her name was Leora. Parents would warn their children with hushed, urgent tones. Do not dare to enter her woods. She steals souls from those who wander too far. But as with all whispers carried on the wind, the truth was something far stranger, far more profound. One year, a bitter winter descended upon the land, and the forest began to change. The proud ancient trees twisted their branches into gnarled, claw-like shapes. Familiar paths seemed to vanish overnight, swallowed by the shifting landscape. The animals, once abundant, fled in a silent, panicked exodus. A palpable fear settled over the village like a shroud. They were convinced it was a curse, a malevolent spell cast upon them. Everyone was terrified, except for one. His name was Jonas, a quiet boy who walked with a slight limp, often overlooked by the others. But while they saw only what their fear told them to see, Jonas looked beyond the rumors. He felt it in his bones. The forest wasn't angry. It was in pain. It was crying out for help. So one moonless night, armed with nothing but a handful of candles and a reservoir of courage he didn't know he possessed, Jonas stepped past the village boundary and into the woods. Instantly, the mist coiled around him, cold and heavy as grief. A soft voice, like the rustling of dead leaves, murmured from the shadows. Turn back... But Jonas's heart, though pounding, was steady. He pressed forward, his small candle flame a defiant spark against the oppressive dark. He followed a feeling, an unseen pull, until he reached a clearing bathed in an eerie, soft light. And there she was, Leora. Her silver hair cascaded around her, unmoving. She stood motionless, her hands bound to the earth by thick roots that writhed like living chains. He saw it then. She wasn't casting a curse, she was trapped inside of one. Her voice was a fragile whisper. Free me, or this forest dies with me. Jonas trembled, not from cold, but from the weight of the moment. No one believes you're good, he said, his voice barely audible. Just then, a shadow detached itself from a great oak tree, shifting and growing. This was the real curse, a dark parasitic spirit that had been feeding on the villagers' fear and gossip. They called her a monster. The spirit hissed, its voice a symphony of their collective terror. So I made her become the monster of their stories. In that instant, Jonas understood everything. The villagers' lies, their baseless fear, had given this dark entity its power, making their worst nightmare a reality. Without another thought, Jonas held his candle to the roots. He burned through them one by one, the flames consuming the woody tendrils until, with a final snap, the last chain broke. Leora stood tall, free. She raised her hand, and a gust of silver wind erupted from her, bursting across the entire forest. The twisted trees straightened, their branches reaching for the sky once more. The lost paths reappeared, dusted in moonlight. The animals began to return. The shadow shrieked as the light hit it, dissolving into nothing but a pile of ash. Its last words echoed in the sudden silence. Truth... always starves lies. The next morning, the village awoke to a healed, vibrant forest. And then they saw her. Leora, the witch they had feared for so long, walked calmly out of the woods and into their town, not as a villain, but as its savior. Children, no longer afraid, reached out to touch her shimmering silver hair. The adults wept, their faces etched with shame for their blind prejudice. Jonas bowed his head in respect, but to his surprise, she bowed even lower to him. Thank you, she said, her voice clear and strong. Thank you for seeing who I was before the world decided for you. And ever since that day, on every full moon, a beautiful silver light falls upon the black forest. It serves as a reminder that fear grows monsters, but truth has the power to free the misunderstood. The moral of our story tonight: never judge someone based on stories told in fear. Always seek the truth for yourself. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed our journey into the Black Forest, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the shadows. Until next time, stay brave.